So maybe we start with the story and you tell me on the last time your horse took you out to play. You just told me the story, no?
When she came to my house and visited me. Yeah, so I was at home. I was very tired. I didn't want to do anything. I was just having a really shit day. And then Kiki, my mare, she started standing in front of my house because my house is in the space where the horses live. And she just stood there for a long time. So I went out, I gave her some food because we have this thing that when she comes in the evening, she gets some food. So I was like, okay, maybe she wants food. She ate her food. She kept standing there. I was getting a little bit like, oh, what do you want from me? And then her halter was hanging there and she kept touching it with her nose.
I need to learn this word.
Halter.
Halter is this thing.
Halter is the thing that you put around the horse's face. And then I went out and I offered her the halter and she immediately like fiddled her head into it. And then she took me to the little sand arena that we have on the land and she just wanted to hang out with me and we played in the sand arena and we weren't doing anything specific. I really felt like she wanted to take me out of wherever I was. And of course I felt way better after.
And this interaction where your feelings and her feelings are in communication is common. You feel that?
Yes, it was always common for me, but maybe it was more that I couldn't differ so much what was hers and what was mine, or what was mine and what was that of another herd member, and now it's more clear for me. But it was always like this, that she was a very strong mirror to me, always, since I had her.
What's the story of when you met her, found her, took her?
So I met her the first time around 3 years ago, when the people on whose land I live asked me, they said they have a horse that is in Algesur to be started on a saddle, and they were unsure if she's good there or not, so they asked me if I can go with them. So this is the first time I met her, and she was in a miserable state. And then a few months later, she came back to the land where I also live. And then the owners, they asked me if I can take her under my care. But it was all in a way I didn't really like, let's say. And then they wanted to sell her. And for me, then it was like, no way. She needs to stay with me. And then I didn't have the money. And then I did a fundraiser. And then within a week, I raised the money to buy her. And it was quite a bit of money. And then I bought her. So since 2.5 years now, she's in my care.
And during this time, you are not yet riding her? You are developing a relationship in this time, no?
Yeah. So for me, it's really... I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up with horses. I was riding horses every day for like 13, 14 years. It was the most normal thing for me to do. Then I had a very long break from like almost 20 years, 16, 17 years from not having really contact with horses. And now when I came back into it, for me, it was not... I think it can be really abusive in many ways.
When you were riding horses, were you doing it in competition? Or
when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Anything really. I was doing competitions, I was doing trail riding, I was just doing crazy stuff on the fields with them, like anything. I wasn't scared at all.
And during that time, did you feel this, that sometimes you felt like
No.
So it's more like the sensitivity came later on, yeah?
I think there was kind of this natural... I had this deep sensitivity as a child, but there wasn't the awareness that I have now. But I also, as a child, with the horses that we had, I had this really pure relationship, and playing, and just we did everything with them. We went swimming with them, we went on holidays with them, like they were just part of the family.
So when you received Kiki, instead of just begin to ride her right away, you felt like it was more of
it's a bit
a
of
time to get to know each other, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, I was very overwhelmed to all of a sudden have a super traumatized horse in my care that had massive health issues, and so it was very overwhelming. And for me, pretty fast, it was clear that there's no way that I will do to her what they did to her when they started her under saddle. Because she didn't have any muscles, she was scared, she was sad, like she was just not a happy horse. So, and then somehow this whole rabbit hole opened. And then I went deeply into trauma work with horses, into, yeah, all kind of body work, into just building a relationship, really. So we done lots of
Trauma
walking.
work with horses, you refer to dealing with the trauma that the horse has.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, exactly.
So, for instance, with Kiki, what are some of the methods that you use to help her heal?
It was mainly just being with her, just being with her and allowing her to be. But I also very quickly, because in the beginning she was quite aggressive, so she was a dangerous horse in a way when I got her.
Even to you?
Yes, she didn't know. She lost all her trust. So she was bottle fed. She was brought up by humans because her mom didn't have milk. So a lot of people say that this is already a huge trauma. They cannot choose when they want to drink. They're really dependent on us. And then when she was in Algesur, and already from what I know from trainers before, she's so sensitive, so sensitive, and not really anyone knew how to deal with it. So they put her like a really sharp bit in her mouth, and then a sharper one and a sharper one, and she kept running against it, but no one ever asked, like, why does she do it? So
you need to pay attention and dedicate time for it. And normally, if you consider the horse as a tool, then you don't have time for tools.
Yeah. So I worked a lot through this with her, and I did it with the help of a friend of mine who's an animal communicator. So that was a big part of it. And it was also, it was spending time going for walks, not asking anything of her what is difficult. So everything was difficult for her. So basically not asking anything of her and just doing like nice things, like going to graze or... So in the beginning, when I asked her if she could step back, she would just rear in the air and pedal with her legs, and she just didn't know what to do except then fight. So she was just always fighting.
Yeah. And between you and the animal communicator, somehow you found this way of slowly going through the healing process. Do you have any like stepping stones that you saw, okay, so this work and this happened, and you saw her healing in stages? Because now she's a different horse, but
it was
progressively, do you
actually...
see moments that were...
It was quite complex because I also worked with osteopaths and with bone therapists, and like really on all with like specific hoof care, because she had her hoofs, like she was in pain, like her whole body was in pain.
So you threw everything at this horse?
Everything.
Yeah. So you treated him like a real human friend.
Yeah, like a real friend. And it was like this from the beginning, and a lot of people like told me, like, you are crazy, why are you putting all of this in this horse and all your money goes into it? But for me, somehow it was never a question. It was always clear that there's like something bigger behind it, why I do this and why we do this together.
Also, you don't really feel a hierarchy. I mean, you have maybe more practical intelligence, but you don't feel superior to the horse in your relationship. You feel very equal to her, no?
Yes, totally. Like, and I understand it more and more. Like, the intelligence that they carry is immense, because they carry this bodily, physically intelligence. And I mean, in our rational thinking, evaluative mind, of course, it's different. But the way how they perceive...
Could you give me a couple of examples of when you see intelligence in like that somatic intelligence or anything?
Well, so like a really thing just to get an idea of the sensitivity is like they feel every fly on their coat. So whenever a fly sits on them, they have this muscle reflex that brings it off. And I mean, a fly is tiny, and a horse is massive. So this for me is already like the sensitivity is incredible. And also, I mean, I don't have a clear example like from them. Maybe, So last year in the fire, there was the big fire, close to my place. And I had to evacuate the horses. And I came really late because I was in Alentejo. And we had to evacuate them twice. And the first time it was super chaotic, like so chaotic. But they understood that I'm taking care of them. And then the second time, all of them were working perfectly together. So even the ones that they were too scared to put their halter on, they came straight towards me and they were like, okay, this human wants to bring us somewhere where it's more safe. So they have quite a lot of understanding.
And now that because you've been working with this herd, what, 3 years?
Yeah, almost 3
So
years.
almost 3 years, and Kiki was one of the last ones to come to the group?
No, like Kiki came shortly after I moved there. So in September it would be 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you were telling me before that you kind of get the feeling that they recognize you as the herd leader.
Well, this is what you said to me. That I
Yes.
maybe I'm
Well,
I didn't say that.
Returning to the comment, just to
Yeah.
clarify, you said that the leader is getting old and she's stepping out a bit,
Yeah.
and that there is a vacuum of leadership in the herd.
Yeah. So this whole life with horses is horses are always looking for someone to follow. They have a natural follow instinct. And yeah, I would say I'm recognized as a herd member. I would. This is how I would maybe phrase it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful feeling.
And when there is no clear leader, do they have? So it's just one leader and everybody else is a pawn, or like, I don't know, I'm using chess, or do they have different ranks and different roles in the herd?
So there are very different opinions on this topic.
Okay.
I personally think that there are different roles in a herd. So maybe there's one who takes a lot of care of the environment. Maybe there's one who takes decisions like, okay, we go to the water, or we go here, or we go there. Maybe there are some that just walk along. Maybe there's some that really take care of the social environment, that everyone stays together. Maybe there's one that calls out if someone is missing. So I think it's quite complex. So I would say they build very complex family systems.
But in this case, your relationship with them, like when you say I'm part of the herd, is a little different to other human-horse relationship, because you don't really have an agenda of what to do something with them. You are not using them for work. You are not even using them for riding. You are not using them.
Maybe, I try.
Yeah.
I try, but it's difficult.
So you are co-living with them and caring for them and letting yourself be cared for them, but you are exploring a horizontal relationship where you are kind of like one more, maybe with a different role, more decision-making role, but you are not having a rank position.
Yeah, this is what I'm really interested in. Like, how can we meet with a different species? Like, for me personally now it's horses, or maybe my cat, maybe. But like really this, like, how did it ever happen that we humans think that we are somewhere up there and somehow lost this relationship with another, within our species, but also with other species. And with this also this possibility to communicate with everything, no matter if it's you or Moe or my mare or the tree, or so there's an intelligence in everything in my world. And like living so closely together with horses and donkeys and mules, it just reawakens something that I believe that we all have.
Being super pragmatic in order for this to work, because it's quite expensive to have a horse. Yeah? So maybe not using them, but there would be a way that this animal-human interaction is of benefit for both. Yeah. So let's take the human direction. In which way can interaction with horses be beneficial for humans?
I think that there is a huge potential for healing. I mean, there are many people using horses for healing, for horse-assisted therapy, for all this stuff, and I think it's great, but I also think it's abusive.
In which way?
In a layer, because does the horse really have a say? Is that really free to leave? I mean, some horses love it for sure, but I met a horse once that they said it had burnout from being a therapy horse. It just didn't have any reactions anymore to anything. It was very away.
Okay, so then I understand what you mean. Like whoever was the human doing the process still would use the horse as a tool.
Yes.
A healing tool, but
So
still a
I'm
tool.
interested
Yeah.
in this
Mhm.
co-healing, let's say.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
I bring someone in the space, like a client in the space, like the herd is free. They can do whatever they want. If they want to leave, they leave. If they want to stay, they stay. Normally they stay because I really think that they enjoy it to help us in our evolution. Because like they are judgment free. So they meet us exactly where they are. They don't have this is right, this is wrong, we do it like this, we do it like that. So they can really meet us where we are. And I think this is a huge potential for healing.
They're judgment free, but you also said before they have zero tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
So how does tell me that again? How would you unpack that? How do you see that a horse has zero tolerance for bullshit?
Well, of course, it also depends on the horse, but it's like this gap sometimes between who we say we are and who we are, or what we say, how we feel, and how we actually feel. And horses feel this.
So they feel
And
the difference between the influencer and the real person.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think it can show in many different ways. Like my mare, I mean, I don't like to say her name is Kiki because she's not mine. She owns herself.
Yeah, Kiki.
She just doesn't want to do anything with me when I'm not present and not real with her. She just turns her back to me and walks off.
So if you get in your head, or if you
Yeah,
get
she just says no, and either she just does whatever, and then I get really annoyed, or she just has no interest in being with me. But she's also very extreme in this.
no,
So
but
like
that's
she
kind of
has,
good.
yeah, it is
If
good.
it's your best friend, it's like,
Yeah.
no, you're bullshitting today.
Yeah, and it's for sure like the evolution I went through with her. I don't think I could have taken all of this from a human.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because
Because they really,
it
like
was
when you work
difficult,
closer with them, they really show you your topics, even if you worked through them already 100 times. And I also think that horses really want to see you in your power. They are not interested in you playing, also this is playing a role, no? Like, oh, like I don't have anything to say, I don't know how to do. And they are just like on top of you in a way, like they are interested in us, like
Could you,
blooming.
I'm trying to picture it, but would you
Yeah.
like be able to give me an example? Like, I don't have any experience with horses,
Yeah,
but like
that's
this, like they have zero tolerance for bullshit. So you go to the herd, or when you say they show you your shit, like, or you bring a client to be with the herd. Can you translate a little bit of the things that you see? In which way do they make you be real? How can you?
Yeah, let's maybe take this example of when I take a person to the herd. There's always this kind of like, let's say a horse comes up, and then there's always like kind of this like, oh, well, hello, like this is
From the horse to the
no,
person.
from the human to the horse.
Before we go
Yeah.
further, the human that you bring to the herd has contacted you for something to heal in themselves.
Yeah, like for whatever, something, a topic they want to
Good.
look at, or a physical issue.
And then
or...
your method, or one of the methods for this healing, is to go and visit the horses. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
because I really see them by now. I see them like they are my co-work. Like we work together, no? Like we are a team.
Okay. So walk
Let's
us
say.
through the process. You get to the herd with this person.
Yes. So on the way there, I already ask the person to tune into their body, like into their bodily senses. Like I like to ask them to like leave their mind a bit to the side, to really drop more into this physicality of our whole being. And then there's normally the point when we arrive at the herd. And then there's always this weird awkwardness of like wanting to greet the animal how we greet us, no?
Yeah, but I would feel super awkward also, like.
Yeah, but this is also, I think this is also a very
It's part of
social
it,
thing.
no?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's normal that we say hello to each other, but I don't know, for example, I experienced it also in shared spaces, like dance spaces, that there's always, when there's eye contact, there's again this like, hee, hello, and it's just like not necessary. Because I said hello to you already, and it's like, can we move on now?
Yeah. So the horse will be that, but on steroids, like really.
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't do anything. They don't go up to you and knock you over. They just do it through their very gentle presence. And I'm there like to support this, of course, because I can read their body language, I know the herd, I know their normal behavior, whatever normal is. And so it's quite touching to see. So sometimes, like the herd, I've seen now also that they take like the human in the middle and they form like almost like a circle around them, and everyone like super calm, and the energy is really strong. So there's no chance that you can.
And how
stay.
does the person link this to their issue? Or how do you translate, or how does the magic happen?
So this, I would say, happens through me also translating what I perceive and what I also through talking in our human language. And then I also combine it with work on the body, so that has layers. But also it can be really different. So I also had a person there, it was just 20 minutes. She came with a topic, and then some of the herd members, they separated. They showed this topic so clearly, like I couldn't believe it, how clear they showed it. And then after 15 minutes, she understood it, and all the horses left, and she was like, okay, I'm done. I can go home now.
Okay.
So it's very difficult to put into words because it's magical, really, what happens.
Yeah, you were explaining before how they have a bigger heart field.
Yeah.
So you can feel them almost from a distance, yeah?
Yeah, so people say also that horses can feel our heartbeat when we approach them. And then, of course, when there are so many of them, we naturally sink without us having to do anything and just being.
And do you think they like it? They're having their horse life, and then you bring a person. It's not, you're not holding the horse to come to the person. There's a lot of freedom involved, yeah. But you bring a new energy. Do they ever feel like they want to run away, or they want to reject this energy?
Well, the thing is, they can. They can just leave. And I'm also just more in the process of trying this out now. And I would say I'm sensitive enough to feel them also. Like I would feel free to cancel a session if someone would really want to work with the horses, and I would feel for whatever reason it's not the day, either the person could have the session just with me, or I would reschedule it. So I would fully accept the agenda of the herd. And it might even be it's a super stormy day, they are all very nervous, then there's not really a point of going there, because then it also gets dangerous.
But by giving them the same status as you give yourself or you give the client, it's almost like you have a space to do research and see how this evolves and how it benefits or doesn't both parts, yeah?
Yeah, this is what I'm actually really interested in. So for me, it really feels like a research project. Like it feels overwhelming, because there's not so much in this field. There are some people, but little bits here and there. So I'm really interested in researching this, like how can we coexist, and not even coexist, like exist together in a peaceful way where everyone has a beneficial effect from it. So where this synergetic effect is there, that we couldn't create only as humans, that not only the horses could create, but when we come together, maybe we can create something that is way bigger we can even think of. And I don't know what this is, but I would say I feel that there's something for us to discover.
Yeah, because all the animals that we use for work, now that we don't need them anymore, unless we eat them, we need to create a new space, no? A new common space, or reintegrate them in the wild. Yeah, interesting work.
And I think it also goes quite closely with this nature regeneration, where lots of people are working in. and where it's like, yeah, when we say we regenerate nature, it's talk about ourselves as well. And like, yeah, how can we find a way to live without destroying everything? And I especially also, I think, I would say that most of the animals have way more consciousness than we have. And that the horses are quite happy to help us to raise our vibration a bit.
In terms of communication, is all kind of like non-verbal, obviously, yeah. Feelings, impressions, but what do you read in a horse? Or how do you feel a horse reads you? Is it body language? It's even before body language, you feel like a horse can read into you just through the field?
I think they can read energy, I would say. I would say they are very aware of... come here.
Move the cushion so he thinks that he has more space.
I would say they are so subtle that they read way beyond our physical body. And then, of course, they read body language because they communicate over body language. But it's also, they are so aware. Like, let's say the lead mare, it moves one ear, flicks one ear. Everyone is going to be aware of it because it has a meaning. Like, there is nothing that doesn't have a meaning. It's all communication. And I think it's the case with everything. There's not just the wind blowing. It also has a message. It's not just a flower blooming. It also has a message. And for me, this, like, to being so closely with the animals just became more and more normal again. And maybe lost its, like, awkwardness or la-di-da, tra-la-la.
Yeah, but I always felt since I was a kid like a desire to not feel separate. Yeah, I grew up in the city, but I love to be in nature as much as I could. And now this is the only animal that I have really lived with. Pause. This is Igor from Post Production. I wanted to correct this because I've had two cats, two wonderful cats, Vanilla and Mimsy. And somehow my deep multi-layer relationship with Maui eclipsed my mind on this moment, and I wanted to correct the error and apologize to my cats. Mimsy, Vanilla, I love you very much. Okay, we can go back to the interview. Play. But it always made me sad, the feeling that we had this beautiful planet, and let's say our position of superiority, intellectual superiority, to me it always felt like it was a responsibility to care, not a possibility to dominate and subjugate and make them into slaves. Yeah? And then maybe when you look back and we didn't know better and we really had necessity, but now we're in this new place that we don't really need them for work. So what you're doing feels super beautiful, to reestablish a new relationship with them. But it also sounds like what you say, a lot of trial and error, trying to figure it out. Are you going to use AI to translate?
I don't think so. But yeah, I do often, I do get frustrated also a lot with this, because for once it feels sometimes lonely, but then I remind myself, or the horses remind me that, I mean, I'm part of them. How can I ever feel lonely in this?
Would it feel like if you add another person to the herd instead of one human and 10 horses? How many horses you have?
There are 12.
12. So if it was, let's say, 3 humans, have you ever had a client that comes regularly until they begin to get used to that person as well? Or some of the people that...
I think it would take way more it's not, even if someone would come more often, it takes more than every other week an hour. But what, for example, when you also met me when I was hiking here in May, and I was with a friend, and she also was with a horse, and this it was 2 days, and the relationship that she built with the mule in this time, incredible, because it's this, they move like in nature. Horses constantly move. They move like up to, I think, 60 kilometers a day.
How many kilometers a day was your walk? 20, no? Something like
27 on the way there, and then 24 on the way back.
In 2 days.
In 2 days. So
and not riding the horse,
yeah,
but walking with the horse.
So we were walking around 50 kilometers. And also for me, like to walk that long and go through all this, like, oh my God, I'm tired. It's hot. I cannot do this. But as you also have this horse on your side, like you need to problem solve. Like there's no way that I can just sit down and be like, I cannot do this. So you just need to move. And it's something actually I'm also very interested in, to do this for a longer time. To be out with Kiki for more days in a row.
To do like a tour or a journey or
yeah, so I would like to do like 4 or 5 days, maybe still this year. But at one point I would actually like to go for weeks. Because I really feel it's a way how we can get back in tune with our natural rhythm.
And in that case, you would bring a tent, or you would, because then logistics come into place, and you need to find a place where she can eat as well, no?
Yeah.
You cannot bring...
Yeah, the logistics are actually quite a thing. So in spring there's grass everywhere. That's perfect. If I would go with her alone, I would definitely bring a tent, because I would have to sleep in the same area where she is, because she would...
So it would need to be a tent for the both of you?
No.
No. Okay.
No, she would have... I would look for a place where, like here in the area, I would plan the route. So I would always end up at a place where I can have Kiki in a paddock or something. And I would probably sleep with her in the paddock, because she doesn't really like to be alone. So normally she has her herd, and when I'm out with her, with the two of us, I would have to be her herd. But yeah, then you need a tent, a sleep, you need to pack, you need to organize yourself, you need to see where there's water. It's it's more planning than I thought, even for 2 days already.
And would you do it with more horses? Would you be able to have one of these trips, but with a pack of horses?
So I could see myself doing it with 2, to have one horse maybe that carries the luggage, and then maybe one that carries me at least at times. Because and then they also could take swaps, no? So one has rests, another has not. But to start for sure with one, because it's complex enough.
Yeah.
Because then then one gets scared, then one jumps, then one does that, one does this. And
do you think... I was thinking now, when I got Maui, I read a bit about dogs. And I read that it's good that they feel like they have a purpose. And I don't know, I think I have failed in that, because the only purpose that we have together is hang out. He doesn't do the fence, he doesn't do... I don't know how to give him a purpose, but to be my friend, yeah? But the horse had that side of being a work animal. Do you feel that they miss it when they're in relationship to humans? Can they coexist without any agenda, nothing to do? Is that something that they open up to?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think it depends on the horse. I think
because, like, let's say, if you will go for a trip with horses, it's because you were taking care of the cows. That would be the cowboy, yeah? So then you would have that relationship, but it was... the horse would be subordinate to the task. When you go for one of these trips, there's no purpose. I mean, besides spending time together, but you are not doing a job.
So I can give you an example with Kiki. So when I went on this walk in May, like the way there, it was so slow, and we were just like arguing like all the time, and it was just annoying.
I love how you were arguing with your horse.
And then I spoke also with a friend that I was walking with, and this topic of purpose was already up. And then she asked me something along the line, yeah, but what do you want? Like, and I was like, I don't know, don't ask me these questions. And then I said, yeah, I want to be out with her for 4 days in autumn, like very clear. And the moment I was this clear, Kiki's behavior changed completely. She started to be really connected with me. She listened to what I was asking her to do. So Kiki needs a purpose, but I don't think every horse does.
But maybe you said before that they want to see you in your power. Maybe more than the purpose is that you feel clear. And once you are coherent with your field, then they get coherent with theirs.
Yeah, good point.
So I'm very indecisive. Maybe I should go to your herd and just deal with that because I really...
Yeah, thank you. You're more than welcome to come anytime. It's really, it's incredible.
So let's say, like, imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. What kinds of issues do people bring that you think, okay, I'm going to bring you to the herd?
Well, the thing is, I'm not doing it for so long to bring people to the herd because I didn't feel that
You're testing,
I'm more in this testing field. It can be anything. It doesn't matter. It can be you broke your foot and want to know why you broke your foot. It can
so let's say I'll give you this as a game. I'm really indecisive. Yeah?
Yeah, great.
Big decisions in life, I don't know, this, that. I go to the supermarket and I see the packages of whatever and I'm like, I don't know. And then often I have to just like take random or whichever is cheapest or whichever is whatever, yeah? But choice feels a difficult subject for me.
Yeah, that's a great topic for horses.
That I imagine it would be.
Like the first thing that comes, I would probably even give you like Kiki on a halter. And ask you to ask her a step forward or a step backwards. Like really simple. Because she just doesn't move when you don't know what you want to do.
Okay.
So in that case, like in this example that you give me now, I would probably put her on a halter. And in this case, I would only use Kiki because she is in my care. And with you, I would feel like, okay, we can do it. And then maybe if that would be easy, I would ask you to like, okay, can you go faster? Can you go slower? Can you go left? Can you go right? But
okay, I love the way you identify the problem and the solution or the strategy so quick. Okay, so I'm heartbroken. So sorry, I'm making you play.
I would just take you into the herd and just be there with you. I would probably either, if you would feel comfortable, I would put up the massage table and just let you lay down and maybe support with a bit of human touch. And if you wouldn't be comfortable with that, I would just go with you into the herd and just be with them for an hour, for 2, move with them. Allow whoever of them wants to be close to you, allow you to be close to them or be far away from them. And
so working with the field a lot,
Yeah.
not so much with actions or techniques, but actually with being present and being in their company.
Yes.
Okay.
That I think I do when you would come heartbroken.
And trauma is different because trauma, you bring fear in your body, yeah? Does that make them unsettled? Or do they feel super protective if you bring someone who...
It's a very good question because a lot of the animals, they are very traumatized.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Would that mirror their own trauma in a way or would they feel immediate compassion? What is your...
I think they would feel compassion and I think it would help them as well because they got traumatized by humans. So I actually feel this would also be this point where there's like co-healing across species, where it's not just about us, not just about them, where there's really this interlace that then creates a way bigger effect. I don't know, but I think it would be like this. Because we all have our traumas, no? I mean, some heavy, some not so heavy, but
I don't think you can be a human being without, even just being born is a traumatic experience. I think both, like we all have traumas and also we are overusing the word a lot, yeah? So it's one of those, like, yes, we all have traumas. Some...
But let's talk some like serious trauma, like abuse.
Like a proper trauma,
Let's say abuse because,
or someone coming with PTSD from the war or something like that, yeah.
I think it would be amazing to just be there. And I really believe that it would be beneficial for the horses as well. Because in a way, what I feel is that, so somehow there is this predator-prey relationship, right? We are the predators and horses are the prey. And this is what plays out a lot also. Like, it's because it's so easy to dominate a horse or a mule. It's just very easy. Like, I mean, I caught myself in it as well. Like, just she doesn't do what I want, and then there's this like, ugh. And this is already where it starts. No, she doesn't bend to my will. I got way better with it, but I still have situations where I just lose my patience or lose my presence, and just move over there now.
I feel it with Maui, and it's an interesting process because I feel first kind of like, you gotta do what I say because now I have to go to work and there's no, I cannot negotiate with you for 15 minutes. And sometimes you can lose your temper in that moment, but then I always feel like, why would he do what I say? So you have also this gray area.
There's something really interesting. It just comes to my mind. I've done some clinics, they call it in the horse world, some multi-day trainings with an American woman. She developed a method that she named freedom-based training. So she trains without, it's not important, but she trains without halter, without anything, so in freedom. And she said that she started this because she caught herself in a power game in usual horse training, and that she sees that especially in women, that they take, so let's say women get or used to get dominated by men or still get, and it's a lot of women in the horse world, and they take it just straight to the next species. And I found this so interesting, and it keeps coming to me, and I keep seeing it in myself also. Luckily,
people
not
hurt
so often.
people,
Yeah.
We always do, we project to the next one. But also because it is an interesting situation when you take a wild animal, you bring it in for work, then that is not necessary anymore. And when that was a relationship of domination that maybe continues in the race industry, the upper class of the horse world, But then in these situations, you have this new space that you kind of have to find a new purpose together.
Yeah, because there are so many animals out there and a lot of them probably would just be super happy to run around in the fields with their friends and just get out of their abusive whatever work.
And your lecture, when you see the regular, let's try not to get into too much judgment, but your lecture when you see, let's say, tourists hiring a horse ride for a couple of... Okay, so...
Nightmare.
So explain to me, why do you feel that is a nightmare?
So for me, this is a nightmare because
Because you have this long life experience with horses, so you feel them. What do you think they feel in that moment?
I think they shut off. I think they go into shutdown.
Autistic mode,
Just like and they don't trust their senses anymore. They don't trust their instincts anymore. They're just gone, and they just turn into machines. They just do what they were taught to do, and there's just no real life, no choice, and so it's this thing that their no doesn't count. The no is just not an option. So they just keep saying yes. It's learned helplessness. That's what you would call it, I guess.
But then the owners in general, they have a loving relationship, I suppose, with the animal. Is then the owner at the end of the day going back to the horse space and kind of reestablish the relationship, and then this horse learns to kind of be dissociated between two different split personalities?
It's really difficult questions.
Because you had this other experience when you were younger working with horses. Did you feel, looking back, that they were also dissociated and cut off and kind of shutting off?
I don't know. I have very little memory of my childhood. And also, probably horses are also fine with it. I'm sure there are some horses that are just like, yeah, that's my job. Let's go. Like, I don't know, some people just do their job, and don't ask for a higher purpose or to grow or whatever. Maybe it's the same in the horse world. I could imagine. I don't know. And I'm also very extreme with this. I also know this, that
You're a horse activist.
I wouldn't say that. I would say I'm maybe an activist for just opinion also, like for humans as well, no? Like to remember like our instincts, our feelings, our bodily intelligence. So for me, it's at least as much about humans as it is about horses. I maybe see them more like they can be our great teachers as a human species to remember ourselves.
Yeah, and to remember our belonging to nature, because now we
Yes.
really feel, like you were saying before, really separate, like we are another thing.
And we separate through our own language. Like there's nature, there's us, there are animals, there are us. We are. It's such a huge. I don't even know. It feels like a hole that we put up there, where we now just fall into, and we created it because we just don't have better language. So maybe we just need to form another language around this. And this is also why I don't like to call it animal communication, but communication across species or cross species communication, because we are also just a species, I would say.
And when it comes to the dealing of traumas and issues with horses, do you also work as a horse therapist in some measure?
Well, I do work with horses, yes.
So let's say the process of healing or helping Kiki heal her trauma, have you exported that to other horses?
With horses in the herd where I live, yes, but not that I would offer it.
Not
I
yet.
think I could,
Yeah.
but
So
there's
like,
a
let's say
lot
one,
of
if
like
that,
I don't have a certificate, no.
I-
So it's always like life that brought me there, and also I think not so many people are so interested in it.
well,
It's
but
coming. It's coming.
so
Let's say.
if we imagine that that would be one of the things that you do in the future,
I could definitely imagine
Yeah.
that. Yes, like I also see it with the two mules there on the land. No one was able to touch them. They were so scared, and it's just so beautiful to see. But in the end, I feel it's the owner that has to do the main work, because there needs to be a change in the caretaker as well, and it just takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time and dedication to it.
yeah,
But I think it's a beautiful work. Like it's so like, and it gives you so much, and to feel them and see them how different they are, and then what they give back.
part of this is your animal communicator, animal translator capacity, yeah? So you also told me before that sometimes you are also hired by people that want to improve their relationship with their pets, or they want to understand something that their animal is doing that they don't understand why. So that's another side of your work, yeah? How do you translate? What is an instinctual thing? Because this is an interesting. You were telling me before someone who hired you because their cat was peeing inside. Yeah, so you go and you see this, and you. How is your assessment process?
So I mean, I'm learning while I'm doing it. So it's basically all self-taught. So I think I started this process in.
If you had a white coat, you would be a researcher in a lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I started this whole process in 2019 when I moved to a little cottage in Barão São Miguel, where there was no Wi-Fi, no phone connection. I lived there for 16 months. It was very extreme. It was also in Corona times and lockdown, and there were animals on the land. And I think I just really learned to, well, first of all, I learned to listen to myself, like to really understand myself more and sensations. And somehow it started naturally that I was able to word a sensation, to give an image to a sensation, or so. I mean, there's this way, people say they channel something or whatever. So I think it's a part that you are able to step a bit to the side, so that okay, this is mine, and then I connect with Moe or whoever, and I feel, okay, this was clearly not mine. So, and then it's a process, of course, and there's a lot of trust, and it's an ongoing process. I need so much trust in my own capacity to do this. So for me, it's still like, this is so weird, really? But then I give it to the human, and then there's also a feedback loop, no? That then the human says like, yeah, this was just spot on. So sometimes it's words I would never use normally, or I would never describe something like this. And then I'm like, should I do this? And then I give it out, and then it was just perfectly the character of the animal. So it's a lot of, so it's a feedback loop. It's a lot of work on myself. It's a lot of connecting to my body. So that's also another thing that I do for work, offering this movement explorations. So really, exploring sensations. How do sensations want to move? What do sensations want to express? I practice a lot outside. How does the wind feel in my body when it touches it? How does the wind wants to move my body? How does it feel when Moe touches my leg? So it's a lot of exploration.
So that, because I know this is another field that you work with movement for humans. How do you call it?
Well, at the moment, movement exploration.
Movement exploration, yeah. Present, conscious movement in one way or another, but I think in the way you do it is also very exploratory.
Yes.
It's a lot of improvisation and a lot of not set sequences, but more free movement.
So by now it's actually only free. So it used to be, I used to teach only yoga, then I used to teach more Feldenkrais, then I combined it, and now it's completely free. With maybe a few little things here and there to just give a bit more structure and offer a more sense of safety. But also there I'm really interested in this, like, how can we rediscover this freedom in this way? And then I'm also really, I come to your classes every week, no? Because this also gives me a structure where I can then explore all this. And
when I was teaching more classes, I was doing a lot of the ones you described. So I would, if you have many sessions a week, you have to do different things. Yeah? So I did have my more structured practices and my more free practices. Now that I have only one a week, I tend to go more for the basics.
I like it.
But we'll do some improvisation sometimes. Yeah.
But I think this is also this, that we need this structure to thrive in it. Like, it just gives a sense of stability and of freedom for me. And this is also something I notice in the horses. Like with Kiki, when I give her a structure, she just feels way more safe. And then she can explore. Why, when I don't give her any structure, she's just like falling into pieces.
It's interesting in life. Almost everything has to do with finding the balance in the middle, yeah? Even if it's a little bit around the middle, because if you give too much structure, then you're dominating and you're forcing the animal into submission. No structure, then the animal is gonna, why do I live with you? Then let me be in the forest.
It's a fine line that is also quite flexible, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah, but it's beautiful because in that fine line, you're forcing yourself to have a conversation. So if you have a relationship with a friend and you're deciding what you do in the weekend and one wants to go to the beach and the other one wants to party, you're gonna have to sit and have a conversation. So that version of that conversation with a horse is all that you are describing, giving the time, doing the research, having space for trial and error, and above all to love them really much and to feel part of them.
Yeah, and it also is again and again this call to center. So I almost forbid myself to just go to the horses. I always try to center myself before. Sometimes I don't, and it's also okay. But I notice, like, when I really want to work with Kiki, I do a practice for myself before, because it just changes everything when I'm really clear in myself. So the most amazing experiences I had with her when I came from multi-day physical exploration stuff, and then it was just like, wow, and this is possible when I'm just really, really clear. But also I cannot always be like this, but more and more.
When you said this now, you know what you reminded me of? Kind of like when you go to a temple And as you enter in the temple, you have this little moment of like, okay, this is a place of truth. I cannot come with shit.
Yeah.
I can come with shit, but I can not shit in my intention.
Yeah.
At least my intention has to be
the intention needs to be very clear and truthful and authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. Authenticity, like, because that is, I think, my mind has gone there a couple of times in this conversation of what we are learning from them. It feels like it's all under the umbrella of that authenticity. You were saying that they will not have any tolerance for bullshit, yeah? And you described the bullshit as a disconnection between you being there physically and your mind being somewhere else, or between you pretending something with them, but behind your forehead feeling something else. And that seems very much like the disposition of our whole civilization at the moment, a disconnection between our true intentions and the way we show ourselves. Yeah, I think we feel a wave of inauthenticity passing through.
And that's actually something that I always struggled with, and why I also feel so at home with animals in general, because they're just authentic. And I so much struggle with, what's the opposite of authenticity?
Lack of
authenticity. It's just something.
No, bullshit is a good word.
that I feel that really it irritates me so much. But of course, also my sense of it got even stronger with spending so much time with the animals. That the bullshit sensor is just on a very high scale.
And that's a risk, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I feel as well, the more at ease you feel in nature and with animals is you feel that you're going into the human world when you go to the human world.
Yes.
Do you feel scared that that will kind of isolate you in a way?
Well, it did isolate me for some years.
Yeah.
So I'm out of this. So I don't feel it's going to isolate me again because I've been in this already.
Okay.
Like
So
I did isolate myself quite a lot for some years.
And you did have to make a conscious choice to break your isolation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that process go?
Intense.
So you felt like, I can imagine, so at ease with the animals that I don't want to see a fucking human being, and then I still need to.
Yeah, so maybe it was the recognition, it sounds a bit silly, but the recognition that we as the human species, we also need other humans. I can be happy without, but I don't think I cannot fully thrive without. And this was this. But sometimes for me, it's still like you will never say never, but it's very unlikely that you will see me on a party in the evening because I get completely overwhelmed. I get completely overwhelmed with the amount of bullshit that is hanging in the air. And then there are drugs and this and that.
But if you stay in your authentic place, like, because I have this tendency and I've investigated a lot, and I have felt that the more I liberate myself to be myself in those environments, the easier it becomes. So for instance, we share this contact improvisation world, yeah? And sometimes I would go, and in the beginning when it's the circle and the this and the that, until we start the jam, I just like,
yeah.
When I freed myself to do what I like to do in those moments, which is to center and then just lay down in Shavasana or meditate for a little bit. And then I saw that the group didn't react to me. They're all chatting, but I'm meditating in the corner and no one neither rejects me nor does anything with me. It's just let me do my thing. And I freed myself to let me be weird. Then it became easier.
Yeah.
Because my sense of authenticity was not dampened or hidden. But at the same time, because I felt that once I did that, I was not met with rejection and judgment, but people just let you be, yeah? So maybe in a way we have an inner battle. Like when we feel uncomfortable in contact with others, I sometimes question if it is not my inner battle that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Sure. I would say a part of it for sure, no?
So
and I mean, in these spaces, I'm okay now. I wasn't for a long time, but now I also enjoy to go there, or at least I feel like it's very good for me. And then most of the time I also enjoy. But for me, this is still different than going to like a party in the evening where there is not this awareness.
But you still have your preferences, yeah?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But the process of breaking the isolation,
Yeah.
so how are the stages?
So I lived in this house for 16 months where there was no Wi-Fi, no phone connection, nothing. And I had to go, I had to be there also to kind of break with my old life, let's say, and open this. And then at one point I was like, oh my God, this is too much. I cannot do it anymore. Like I need to be more closer to civilization in a way. So that was a big part. And then it was a lot of self-acceptance. Like just a lot of, okay, but this is how I am. And the people that love me, they will take me like this. And the ones that don't, then okay, it's also okay. Like also this need to be liked got way smaller, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you said, no? With my own weirdness to have it like, yeah, but this is maybe also my greatest gift.
Yeah.
And to not hide it, because so it was also, for me, it was also a lot about hiding myself and it was protection mechanisms and to not be heard or not be whatever. But yeah.
I think if you allow yourself to do like a horse does, you go into the group, no, this is boring. You walk over there. This is interesting. You pay attention. Yeah, but humans, we struggle with we wrestle with our inner guilt and our inner conflict.
Yeah, and also like how easy they set boundaries. Like, I mean, and they do it, gentle first, and then they do it quite roughly. It's not
Maike, if he doesn't want to be with me, he just walks away. I can be in my most loving, and he doesn't want to be with me. He just
and we would
walks
never,
away.
and then, but also like in between them, and horses, okay, then they give each other a kick, and then it's clear, and then but then they are not enemies after, no? Then they just made clear, this is my space, and I don't want you in this right now, done. Without them being like, oh, you don't like me, and why did you do this to me? And
that's an interesting point. It's like animals, they don't hold to these things so much as we do, Like, it's not just that you don't feel the emotion, but once the emotion has been felt, we tend to hold on to it and we keep score,
it's this thing that animals shake, no? After they experience. So I made it I'm doing an experiment to shake myself every evening for 10 minutes. I'm just on day 4. Let's see how long I last. I want to do it for a month.
Standing? Like kind of jumping up and down?
So I start the shaking and then I let it happen.
But this is a therapy technique, no? I've read
so
about it.
and I just as I said, I'm only on day 4. I would like to do it for a whole month and just see what it changes in me, to also like shake off all this weird stuff that I still maybe carry around or that gets stuck with me during the day, or thoughts that don't help me, and just shake it all a bit more loose.
Especially with accumulated stuff, like it's not in the head. The accumulated stuff is in the body. The trauma is in the body. Even the memory is in the body in a way. If I have understood correctly, your movement thing, you are. Let's see if I can clarify. I will cut this out. You do, how do you call it?
Movement exploration.
Movement exploration, but you were explaining that you're bringing that into the relationship with the animals as well. So you're part of what you're doing when a person is coming to the herd is through movement. So does this mean that you are guiding the movement of the person, or is it like a language of a communication that is using movement? Explain.
So I think in the long run, my idea would be to offer workshops together with the horses, where I guide people like into their movement and just let them move while being, let's say, witnessed by the horses. But I'm not there yet.
So the first stage would be the placement of the movement practice in the herd.
That would be the first stage, yes.
With the horses just there and then see what they do.
That would be my first stage. What I'm practicing already is also like, this contact improvisation, but with a horse. like, because it's really interesting because they do start to give you weight.
You do.
They do.
No, but you do contact
Yes.
improvisation with a horse.
Yes.
You alone with Kiki.
Yeah, and I'm doing it for years, apparently, but I just didn't know that it has a word for what I do. So I just discovered this when I went into this contact improvisation world, that this is what I'm doing already. And it's just very interesting, and it's a lot without touch. It's a lot like, no, on more, but it's getting more and more closer already, and it's a very beautiful practice. So I could imagine like one day to have maybe like a week immersion or something with a fixed group of people where you really go into these explorations.
And it would be so you would explore the whole thing from, let's say, massaging the horse is passive and the person is touching the horse, coexisting without touching, and then kind of like dancing together in a way or moving together.
I don't have a really clear picture of it yet because it seems like some steps to go. And I think it would also be like.
But you do the three things. You coexist with the horse, you do a movement practice
for myself,
for yourself where the horse is there, and you do
this
dance with the horse, touch, dance.
Yeah.
Dance maybe is a bit extreme, but
in a way, what is a dance? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but you would lean into the horse, kind of roll on the how do you call the side of the horse?
I don't know the English word. I only know the German word right now. Yeah, and this is what I'm also going to explore for 3 days now with the end of this month with a friend of mine.
But your first instinct or your first experience, let's say, is only been with Kiki, or you have done it with other horses?
I've done it with whoever volunteers.
Okay.
But Kiki is normally my victim of choice, yes.
Do you feel they enjoy it? She enjoys it? She thinks it's weird?
So when I started it, she didn't enjoy it at all.
Okay.
She was very like, what's happening here?
What are you doing?
And I feel she's enjoying it more and more because now also she's offering me to be on her back because she's so high. I cannot just, she needs to stand next to something where I can step onto them, be on her. And she voluntarily stands there. So I would say there's a part of her that enjoys it.
Okay.
And I mean, she comes to pick me up at my house to do something with me. So I would say there's enjoyment.
Yeah.
From her side.
But but that's when she's coming to play or she's coming to ride. But in this moment when you're doing this, so now you're still in the contact. If it was aliens, they're in the contact moment. You're like, how do we do this? Yeah.
It's very, like some days she's super happy with it and she really interacts. Sometimes she just keeps eating hay and it's like, yeah, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Sometimes she walks off. So, I mean, they also have their moods and they're like, then when she's on heat, she's like, no, thank you, just don't touch me.
But we take that from everything. You would go surfing and you would say, today the waves are big or they're small or it's windy, and that's the weather. So when you are interacting with the horse, he will have or she will have a weather.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have as well, no? And I accept that. Like it's, of course, sometimes I'm asking her like, yeah, I know you're in a shitty mood, but I also know that movement helps her. So I do take her for walks when she's on heat, for example, because I know she feels better after. I learned this, even though she first is like, just fuck off. Don't do anything with me. I know that after an hour of walking, she's going to feel way better. So it's very, it's a lot of experimentating.
Did the first time that you rode her, was it her decision? Did she actually invite you, or was it like, because how many years you walked by her?
More than 2.
And then one day it was you that decided, okay, let's try this.
So I felt her ready, and I also felt her still in this old pattern of I cannot do this, this is going to hurt me. So I kind of teach her very slowly that this is over and that I'm not hurting her and that she can say yes, she can say no, but also I challenge her. Because I also like to be challenged. And she challenges me also.
Yeah, but that sounds like a relationship of friendship with your friend, with your whatever, your brother. You would have that relationship. You're good for each other and comfy. And every so often you go like, let's do this.
And I mean, they have a full-blown character, each one of them. And it's just also a matter, of getting to know each other more and more and more. Like, with friends. there's always something new, no, that we didn't know yet, or that makes us smile, or that makes us angry. Or
And you amused me before, because this is a whole new world for me, but you were telling me before the difference between horse, donkey, and
mule.
yeah?
Yeah.
And you find them different in
Yeah.
their...
Yeah. So I think, so donkeys, I think they're very funny. They're very, very funny. They love to play. They're just hilarious. But also they have
like a good sense of humor.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say they have a very good sense of humor. They love to come on my terrace in the night and do little fights there with each other.
So they go to there so you can witness it.
I don't know. They wake me up with it. I don't know if they do it
But
that
you
I
could fight
witness them.
somewhere else,
They just somehow enjoy it on my terrace.
Okay.
And donkeys have this, they think before they act, maybe a bit more, while a horse just acts when they get startled by a sound. They just run, and the donkey would rather wait and then kind of negotiate, is it worth to run away or not? And then mules are a mix of a horse and a donkey. So I personally, in my experience, I don't have that much experience with mules, but we have some in the herd. So they are part horse and part donkey. So you can meet a horse in them and you can meet a donkey in them. So depending on the situation. And they are super intelligent. They're very, very intelligent. And they learn from watching. And I would also say that mules don't forgive so easily. While horses are very, very forgiving.
So mules would hold the grudge a little longer?
I can give you an example. So when we started this hike in May, the beginning was a nightmare because Magic, the mule, I couldn't put a halter on him for whatever reason. And he was used to it. So I was getting a bit upset, and I was like in the center arena, and I was like, okay, then run a few rounds. So I made him run. He was getting more and more upset. And it took us, I think, 45 minutes to put a halter on him. And until today, he hesitates when I want to halter him. Because he was very unhappy with what I did there. Like, he was like, why do you make me run?
How long ago was this, you said?
How long? More than a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Okay.
And I heard from people that were closer with mules that it's really like you can make a mistake, but better don't make it too often.
Okay.
Especially when they have a history of heavier abuse.
So in this process of negotiating, coming back together, how are you approaching him?
So I try to, anyways, the very traumatized animals, what's the mules, I try to let them come to me. And I can halter him when he's in a kind of enclosed area already. But the other day I took Kiki and the 2 mules for a walk in the evening, and they were free because they are always free. But then I wanted to put a halter on him, and he knew what I wanted to do, and he just ran off because he didn't feel like it. But then 10 minutes later he was okay, and then he came and I could do it. So they have very strong opinions also. And he's like, yeah, they just know what I want from them. And when I want to catch him and he doesn't want to be caught, he's gone.
So you mean he knew you wanted to put the...
Yeah, he knew it.
But you didn't have it in the hand?
I had it in my hand, but he also knew it before already.
Okay.
I'm sure, because he wanted to be free and to graze, and he didn't want to be on the halter. He just loves to be free.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I think that's who doesn't? Is one thing that humans don't understand when we impose on others, and we impose on animals, and we impose on the natural world. Is like, how can we imagine that the other creatures don't want to be free as much as we want to be free, you know?
But then it's the thing, then also the structure gives freedom.
Yeah.
No? So there's also...
Yeah, but the structure that gives freedom is loving.
Yeah.
It's not dominating.
Yeah, true. And there I was just like, I want to go home. I want you in the fence now. And he was like, no, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Maybe this is difficult to do, but do you have like simple recommendations for people who have maybe horses in particular, or pets, of big no-nos or big yeah-yes, or things that you see people doing that you are like, oh my God, if you knew how this feels from the animal perspective, Of course, being abusive and all that, yeah, the big clear ones, but is there any simple recommendations that you can give people? Or maybe not recommendations, but things that you have seen that really work and things that don't work?
So maybe the biggest thing for me is to not just touch animals, to not just walk up and touch them straight in the face, to just offer your hand. I mean, when it's animals you don't know. I even do it with the animals that I know very well. I catch myself just but it's for me is a big thing to like say hello, to offer a hand, to see if they want to touch or not. It's maybe the biggest thing for me. And then it's just generally like meeting them with more awareness and more like, meeting at an eye level and not like we are here and they are somewhere there, but that it's really that we can at least learn as much from them as they can learn something from us, maybe. So yeah, this humility also, and this awareness that they know way more than we know. Maybe. I don't know, obviously, what they know and what they don't know, because I also don't know what I don't know. But yeah, just meeting other species, no matter if they are furry or feathery or leafy, just meeting with more awareness that there is knowledge and that there is consciousness and that there's awareness on the other end.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other animal is somewhere. When the fires came, what do you see from the horses? Because it was super scary for the humans. The fire was really close to the houses, and you had to evacuate with them.
I don't like that so much, boy.
How was the?
Yeah, good question. So I arrived very late, so I wasn't at home with this last fire now. And I came, and it was so close that the gas bottles were already exploding, and the horses weren't haltered, and they weren't, in my opinion, they should have been way out of the land already. So they were really panicking. But also I arrived with a very strong panicking energy. Because I was racing down from Alentejo. I know there was no one who would take care of it. So obviously I was like not in my calmest center.
And if anybody is listening to you and doesn't remember or does not, these fires were
last year,
but it was several days. They kind of stopped. They came back again. So it was a few days where we were all up and down, sleeping, not sleeping, getting ready to pack everything. Yeah. So it was really not one day, but it was several days of back and forth.
But what also was amazing to see there, I arrived and they all came towards me, and Kiki straight away wanted her head in the halter.
So they do consider you the pack leader a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know if leader is the
maybe
right
not
word,
leader,
or if it's maybe the person to...
Decision maker.
Decision maker. I think I struggle with the word leader. I think it's my issue.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone told me that I'm always master, and it sounded awful. Like I'm not his master.
So it was quite... So as there was this really strong human energy, I don't know how they would have behaved if we wouldn't have been there. I guess they would have left long time before, because they sense it, way before us.
So because they can leave the property?
No,
it's fenced, no?
Yeah, this is what I said. If they would be free, I guess they would have left a long time before. So at this first day of the fire, it was very chaotic. There were, of course, horses that were calmer, that we also still trailered and drove direction Lagos, or some people did. And then there were, for example, the mules and the donkeys that there was impossible to halter anymore, because they were just so fired up, literally. So I decided to let them run free. What was, of course, super dangerous. So we were walking the horses. There were free donkeys, there were free mules, and then there were bomberos. It was very messy. And then we brought them to a little field together where a herd of sheep was already in. So I just put them in, and they were running most of the night because it was just at the road where the bomberos were parked. What was stupid, but also good because it was safe. But also they adapt quite fast then. So I would say for the herd, it was the experience that they really brought them together. And then,
so it created cohesiveness between them. Okay.
Yeah, because they went through a really strong event.
So after the fire, you felt more harmony between them.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
And then we had to evacuate them when the second fire came. So there was this one fire from one side, and then the other one came. And there they were much calmer. But also there was a high level of stress. So I saw it in Kiki. So I had Kiki and one of the mules, and then Kiki saw a sheep and she just completely lost it. She just completely lost it, even though she had lived with sheep for the last 2 days. And this is where you then feel that their level of stress is so high that one little thing just makes them completely explode.
What did you do?
She just started bucking and rearing and running sideways, and then there's also no gentleness anymore from my side. Then it's just like, yeah.
Is it fear? Is she scared of sheep? Or?
It's her natural, she is a bit scared of sheep, but she's also, it's this natural flight instinct that I couldn't allow in this moment.
Yeah, of course.
So when we then arrived to the field, they just ran it out.
Of course.
And then they calmed down. And then they were doing really good.
Yeah. Also because there is so many things that we don't take in consideration, like a herd in nature, they're all related. This herd that you're having, they're all from a different mother.
Say that again, I don't know
if there is a herd of horses in nature, there would be a family.
Yeah.
Related, blood related.
Yeah.
The herd that you have, maybe a couple are each other's mother or
no, they're not.
None of them. They're all from different places. So it's like a random group of people that are forced to coexist.
Yeah, this is also why it took so much time for them to build like a herd structure that I would say is close to natural. But before it was really, you could see it, that was just individuals being put together against their will.
Yeah. And in all these big disasters, is such a blind spot. These of the fires, I was aware because I have so many friends with the horses and dogs that during and after the fires, I felt quite a strong awareness of where are the animals, in this area. But I was reading, where was I reading? In these last few weeks that there have been attacks in Lebanon. And I heard there's people that they are helping people, but there is people there as well trying to find where all the animals that are suffering from the war, that are displaced, that are lost. We create enormous consequences beyond the ones that we create for ourselves.
Yeah. Like in the big fire, when was that, 2 years ago, up at Odesseish and in Tejo, there we saw the people from the land, I just welcomed the animals, but they took a lot of animals there out of the fire. Of course, this time we had enough to take care of ourselves, but there is quite a big support there also here, I feel. But yeah, it is a bit hectic to be in a fire anyways. It was the second fire I've been in. The first one was hectic, but this one was a bit more hectic.
Yeah, and with people, of course, it's your family, you're scared, your possessions, your house, you've worked your whole life for whatever it is and it's going to get destroyed. But when you have animals, you have these other things, you have to communicate with them, you have to coexist in a danger where you have to be the one guiding. And it's, both, I imagine, like a great lesson, but immensely challenging as well.
And it's also the point where I realized every single of these animals have to be halter trained. You need to be able to halter them. It's not an option that they run away. I'm not there because that is almost like, I mean, most of them are, but some of them are not. But this is a situation where this is a problem, and it is part, I think, of the responsibility as humans to be able to take care of their safety, to be like, okay, when there's a situation like this, you listen to me, done. Yeah. There's no argument, there's nothing.
So by definition, when you are researching something, you do not know where you're going to end up, yeah?
Yeah.
But if we did an exercise of dreaming, where do you see this going? So you would have people and animals interacting in a way that there is healing in both directions, yeah?
Yes.
Communication in both directions.
Yeah. So I would see it in a space where the horses can live as a herd naturally. I would see it as a space where there's an outdoor practice space that the horses can come to if they want to.
Beautiful.
I would see it as something that is minimum a day long, probably more multi-day, to even be able to somehow dive into it.
Yeah, like I told you before, my only experience with a horse was like maybe 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
and I felt I needed 2 or 3 days. It was really...
Yeah. So probably one day would be just for landing in our human bodies, and then so maybe so it would be probably week-long things. So yeah, I think for me the basic thing must be that the basic needs of the humans have to be met, and the basic needs of the other species have to be met. What then for the horses would be friends, freedom, and food, and for the humans probably it would be food, a bed, and water, and clothes. And then so I would really, or I do see it really as a research center that one day is going to be wherever.
And then when it becomes closer, when there is more like a real healing situation, like someone comes with an issue, and the big defining factor that you would change, that you would give the healer horse more freedom to choose that role. You were explaining before that sometimes when there are horses in the healing position, did you say that they burn out? That's the expression you use,
I use this expression.
So in order for that not to happen, the key factor is to allow the horse to feel agency in choosing that role.
Yes. And I also would feel it as my responsibility to say, okay, this horse is not in the right mood today. He stays out, he or she stays out. So to somehow have the possibility to lock some out for whatever reason. Maybe they're in a shit mood. Maybe they are just not ready to do this work. Maybe
you said roles. Maybe you are bringing the shaman horse that is eating over there, and then you bring, I don't know, the plumber horse. And it's like, what the fuck do I do with this? I don't know.
Exactly, but this is really what I feel. Some horses are not at all interested. There are some horses in the herd, they're just not interested in it.
He's a carpenter horse. He doesn't care about people. And then another one is really sensitive, is the poet. He wants to be.
And then even this is also something that I would always really consider, this really sensitive horses that would always say yes, but they also would need to know their boundaries, no? To not take on too much, and have exercises for them as well to release again.
For the therapist, that work as therapists, we know that we also have to clean our energy afterwards.
And for them could be like, okay, let's go for a run, or let's do some exercise where you really feel your own body again. So I would definitely, or I do see this as my responsibility as well, to also help them to get a better feeling for their body and maybe more strength, more endurance, more, because it helps us as well.
But also, and it would have to kind of work in groups as well. Oh, wait. I got a cramp in the leg. It would have to work in groups in a way, because so far we haven't talked about the financial dimension of all this, because this sounds
it's a big thing,
amazing but incredibly expensive, so for it to not, unless you make it into a charity, it would have to somehow generate its own income.
Yeah, that's quite a topic, the financial part of it. I strongly believe that it's gonna solve itself. I don't know if I'm really naive with this or not.
But if we brainstorm for 1 minute, what would be the way to capture the financial requirements?
Well, it would be groups, working with groups, and it would also find people who sponsor this kind of work, because most research is like classic research is always sponsored. sponsored is not the right word, but funded.
Yeah.
So I think that this would be the same for it. I don't know if there are people who would be happy to sponsor a work like this, but
just to be, how much is a horse a year? Do you know?
well, Kiki was very expensive the first 2 years. But let's say a horse that gets to see the farrier and then maybe the vet and hay, probably around 250, 200 a month, let's say. And then everything else on top. Because especially I think when you work with the horses in such a way, like healing field, and they also need some body work done and see an osteopath and have this holistic approach.
When I did my shiatsu training, I saw in Australia, probably now it's in more places, but they do shiatsu for horses.
There's someone here in Portugal who does it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's in Alentejo. I read it somewhere. I mean, after I did this few shiatsu circles with you, I did a bit on Kiki when she was laying down. She loved it.
She's receptive, yeah?
Yeah, super receptive.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I give Maui a bit, but Maui likes everything, so you can lay down on top of him.
No, but they really, really, I mean, there's osteopathy there's everything for horses because it's such a big business also. Like the horse business, it's often people with money in this classic way, in racing or dressage or whatever you do with horses. Like, as you said earlier, like it's quite high end in the classic way.
Because in that world, in the races, there is also people bet and there is a lot of money involved, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens to those horses when they retire?
The race horses, well, often
They're used for
they are just put to sleep.
Oh, yeah?
Because also
Because once they have passed their prime,
not so proven information, but from what I know, they start really early, like with 2 years old often. And from what I know, a horse's spine closes between 7 and 8. So they ride on babies. So it would be a toddler in the human world. So they have huge damage, the horses. So I would say if they are lucky, they find someone who just takes them in and takes care of them. And I'm afraid a lot of them are just being put to sleep or I just left wherever. So it's really like a piece of material, often, I would say.
We do that, don't we? How long do horses live?
It depends. So the smaller they are, the longer they can live, people say. So I know actually here in Budens there's a little pony, he's 39. He's my age.
And that is old?
It's old.
So normally around 30?
Yeah, 30 can be. And donkeys, mules can get up to 50.
Oh, wow.
They can get really old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And of course it depends on how they live, how they're treated, and
Well, if they
accidents.
If they get osteopathy treatment, and freedom food and
as
friends.
long as they don't break a leg, should be good.
Yeah,
because then you have to put them to sleep.
Anything else, Maike? Anything? When we talked about this, you said, like, I think it's important for people to know this. Is anything that you still feel is important that you have felt co-living with these animals that you think, people should know this?
I just think that we all should remember that we are more than that. Our whole body has an intelligence that speaks to us in that beyond words. And this remembrance that everything is alive and everything is in communication and we are a part of it. And for me, there is no such thing as disconnection. We say it. I also catch myself saying it. But I mean, we breathe the same air. How can we ever be disconnected?
I think is that what you have said a couple of times, that the intelligence, when you say the horse is so intelligent, I think we tend to think is this intelligence, but it's a full body intelligence.
Bodily intelligence.
Even beyond the body, it's a field intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say now. Probably I will remember later. It's like, should I have said this?
No, well,
Yeah.
we live nearby.
Yeah.
There will be other opportunities. But yeah, it makes me curious. I actually would probably want to enjoy one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how do you call it? Her horse bath.
I don't know yet. Yeah, I was thinking, I started to think the other day about it. Something was being
How do they call the Japanese? They call it forest bathing when they go into the forest.
bathing. Yeah,
So
horse
this would be a
bathing.
horse bathing.
That's made me think that for me, I often think about that. I mean, our species is called human being, no? So being is in our name, but we are doing all the time. It's so difficult to just be. And that's maybe something we can remember with them.
Maybe that's one of the things that you were saying before in the time that the distance with the other humans was big when you were feeling isolated, is that you got very used to being. And then just being with humans, you can do it, but it requires an enormous power of will to just to be in company when the environment is really pushing for doing or intellectualizing or something else, and it feels like it should be okay that we share our being and not just our actions. Sometimes, at least sometimes. And what you said before is true. Often the person that will just be, it feels awkward. We have disconnected from that, from being.
And how strange. We are named like this. We're human beings.
Well, we gave ourselves that name. What do you think, Moe? Did we forget anything? This was super interesting, Maike. Very beautiful and wonderful subject, and also a wonderful perspective on the subject. For me, that I know nothing, but I do know with this dude. Did you just eat a fly?
No, you didn't. You tried.
Like I didn't have any feeling that I was gonna own a dog. It was a feeling from the beginning, but it's been a learning process to like I do have the responsibility of making choices and giving structure, but he's not mine. It's very clear. He's not mine. He's living with me, and
there's something, I mean, everyone talks about their pet or they own this or that, and it's like this ownership.
We own nothing really.
Nah.
Everything is
We can just
alone.
be caretakers, no?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much also for jumping in on a cancellation day with short notice. But I thought actually I had leaving it empty today was another person that was supposed to visit in here, and she's sick. And then I thought maybe I just take the day off and I do something else. But then I thought this could be a nice alternative, and also because we know each other, it's an easy entrance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was very beautiful.